Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Seduce Me 2. We're now awake, even though our characters didn't want, well, my character didn't want to. Sam didn't want to either, but everyone's like, get up. Sam, however, lowered his plate to his lap and looked up at his brothers.
So, what's the plan?
Well, we should probably take the next couple of days to train properly. Since we're in Lilith Castle, we'll have access to training equipment.
Lilith Castle. This place has a name? The boys and Irene, Eric's wife, nodded in reply. Sam stuffed a stick of jerky in his mouth and began to chew on it as Damien began to explain.
The first succubus, Lilith, was exiled here after being cast out of Eden by the heavens. She became a demon and soon began to breed more incubi and succubi than the world could control.
Wait, Lilith as in the Lilith from the Bible?
Yes. During her time here, she established a kingdom with this very castle at its heart.
It's a pretty castle indeed. I've never had the pleasure of coming here.
I'm not really a fan of it.
Sam swallowed a bite of jerky he had in his mouth and licked his lips, joining the conversation.
Alright, so we train until we can't anymore.
Obviously, we'll need breaks in between, but we can't afford to let a day go by without intense training. We only have a week after all.
Yeah. Word began to bubble back into my mind. Everyone was willing to step up and start training, but Eric was right. We only had a week to prepare for the Demon Lord. Will we be strong enough in time?
You fear too soon, child.
Our conscience is a guy this time. Huh? I straightened on my back. I was gonna say bike. Back and looked around, hearing the voice from my dream look echo through the air. Everyone else looked at me curiously, wondering why I spoke up.
Wait, what?
Did you say something?
I looked around at everyone, seeing their confused face. Did they not hear the voice?
They cannot hear me, child.
That's mad creep. I shook my head, rubbing it gently with a nervous laugh. Sorry, I thought I missed something. The confusion in everyone's face dissipated as everyone got back to the topic at hand, one I couldn't remember or focus on. My thoughts went back to the voice, wondering how it was speaking to me and how it knew what I was thinking.
I am closer than you imagine.
Alright. What do you mean?
Be patient, child. The time for answers will come soon enough.
He sounds like a wizard. I grew more and more concerned and confused. What was this spirit talking about?
I am no mere spirit.
You're a wizard. Then what are you?
That I cannot tell you yet. When the time comes, you will know.
Alright. This was mildly scary. A voice in my head was speaking to me and I could only speak back in my thoughts without anyone knowing what was going on. Damien can't hear our brain going on? He can't. Right. Oh, okay. I looked around to see everyone still speaking to each other, but I couldn't focus on what they were saying. All I could focus on was the voice in my head.
Answers will come when the time is right. For now, I will bid you farewell.
I'm kind of curious why Damien cannot hear it. Wait!
Whoa, wait, what?
Oops. I didn't realize I spoke aloud until everyone looked at me again. I looked at Damien, wondering if he heard everything going on in my mind or head, but he seemed just as confused, if not more so than the others.
You alright?
Tell them or let it go. They won't believe me, so let it go. I shook my head. Whatever was in my mind was gone now, so I had no reason to be distracted. Sorry, just had a rough night.
Oh, we're sorry. Is everything okay now?
I nodded, wanted to shake off Twilla's worries. Yeah, it was just a nightmare. It went away the second I went to bed. Everyone nodded in understanding, but Sam wrapped an arm around me and hugged me to his side.
Well, like we said, we'll be ready for whatever the Demon Lord throws our way.
I wouldn't be too sure about that just yet.
Everyone in the room turned their heads to see Diana and Cero standing at the door. Diana stepped further into the room as Cero stood at attention. watching her.
You 5 have been gone during the 10 years of this war. You do not seriously believe that you will be ready for this in a mere week, do you?
I believe so. Diana seemed firm and serious. I can understand why, but a part of me felt a bit angry that she shut down her pep talk. Sam glared at Diana.
And if we do?
Then it is a foolish mistake.
How so?
10 years of absence can be unkind to one's abilities.
To be fair, it has only been 2 years for us.
Regardless, when was the last time any of you actually fought in battle?
Well, Sam's a cop. Silence consumed the room. She was right. However, we weren't willing to give up that easily. I stood and placed my plate on the bed behind me. Why does it matter? We're going to defeat the Demon Lord either way.
We will. But there is no reason to try and breed ideas of false hope that it will be easy. Too many lives have been lost in this war, with the hope that they'll all survive. It's better to be realistic.
Of course. The tone of her voice echoed a heavy warning. No doubt, she had seen hundreds or thousands of deaths in war firsthand, but now was not the time to doubt ourselves. Sam stood up as well, standing at my side in defiance.
Fuck that! If you're right, then hope's the only thing we got.
Seto stepped up to Diana's side, giving Sam a blank stare in return for his mistress.
Hope can only take you so far. Do you truly believe it will help you defeat the Demon Lord?
Maybe. I felt Sam take my hand and nod, affirming his words. I smiled and squeezed his hand, agreeing. Seto and Diana stared at us, with Diana crossing her arms. Something was on Diana's mind as she stared at Sam, just from looking in her eyes. What was it?
Can you say that with confidence?
I can. Want me to?
Not to derail the topic, but this is a waste of time. We should be preparing for war, not bickering about if we can or not.
A moment of silence passed through the room as Diana stared at Sam sternly. However, she was distracted, distant from the conversation, as she was stalling time to have her thoughts wander. What was keeping her real attention?
Well, I'm not going to argue about this. Believe what you wish.
Sam and I waited and watched as Diana lowered her arms to her side with a sigh.
However, we do have something to discuss.
Diana ran a hand through her hair. Oh wait, we can skip this. Yay! We're gonna go train with Seto. Surprise me. Give us that dodge. Then we're gonna parry. You seem to really care for Diana. Seto, oh shh! I didn't pick that choice. Crap. Seto looked to me with a chuckle.
I don't just care for my lady.
That was obvious. The way he spoke about her spoke volumes of his affection for her. As Seto looked to me, a flash of realization washed over his eyes. What?
You're human, so you would understand.
Understand what?
Love.
Of course. Totally. I stared at him, knowing the meaning of the word, but not understanding what he meant by saying it. What about love?
Well...
For a moment, Seto looked back to the saber in his hand before shaking his head.
Never mind. It's nothing.
I wanted to ask more, but a pair of footsteps echoed through the room from the door, causing me to turn around and see who it was. Alright. It's alright. Let him stare for a little longer, because we're into that. into helping people help each other's love. You know what? I'm a Cupid. There you go. I walked into the room and let out a sigh. Today was tough, and I could tell it was only going to get much tougher. Later in the week, I felt my feet slide across the floor in exhaustion, not used to the strenuous work I had to do. I sat down on the bench in front of the fireplace, staring into the flames as I let relaxation finally hit my body. The warmth of the fire gave me a dull sense of calm, causing me to sigh and lean back against the bench.
You have done well, child.
Are you a wizard? Huh? You again?
Fear not. I come to observe you as you observe me.
Okay. I tilted my head, confused as to what the voice meant. I looked around and scoured the room before turning my gaze back to the fire. Within it, I could barely make out the outline of eyes, which caused me to freeze in my spot. Oh my gosh! That is creep. What the hell? You're the fire?
I am a flame, but I am not the fire you gaze upon. I merely look through it to judge you and the one named Aumaris.
Aumaris? You're judging us. Why? For what?
That will be known soon. When the time is right, the one destined to take my power will be tested.
I stared into the fire, lost and confused. Why were we being judged? Was this some sort of trick by the Demon Lord? As I thought of that, the flame intensified slightly.
The Demon Lord, an evil being of this world. He is a curse plaguing this land.
You hate the Demon Lord as well?
He is not worthy of life. But I care not enough to rise from the darkness to rid the world of him myself.
Okay, then what do you want? What do you mean?
I have been generous with you, child. You must now be patient.
Before I could even think to protest, the eyes hidden within the flames vanished, and the voice disappeared from my mind, as if it were part of a dream I had awoken from. I shook my head and rubbed my head. I shook my head and rubbed my head, taking it in. Some sort of spirit or guardian was watching over us. Apparently, it seemed to be strong enough to defeat the Demon Lord himself. Was it possible? Even more so, it was going to test one of us to take its power. My mind instantly went to Sam. There was no reason for me to be the one to be tested. Okay, that was weird. So it had to be him. How would he be tested, though? I shook my head. She's still shaking her head. That's why it's confusing me, because I was like, wait, did I read this already? This was too confusing to think about right now. However, as I sat back and let my mind reorganize itself, I suddenly realized something. Where was Sam? I stood and walked to the door, opening it and peeking out into the hall. Sam was nowhere in sight. Sam was really late in coming back. From what we discussed, he should have been back, or at least on the way. However, the distance to the training area was not that far. I began to wander the halls, trying to find where they were. Luckily, Sam made a lot of noise.
Fuck you!
Sam? I rushed towards the noise, stopping at an open door. Peering in, I gasped as I saw the war room in disarray, as everyone seemed to hug the walls, watching the chaos that was breaking in the middle of the room. What is... he's fighting... Is he fighting, Shadow? Sam and... sorry. Seto, not Shadow. Sam and Seto were clashing sword spear, with Sam's face full of rage, and Seto's expression void of any emotion.
You're too slow! Faster! You want me to go faster? Fine!
Before my eyes, Sam and Seto became barely visible shadows to the air. Their weapons changed rapidly, almost like multiple bullets crashing at once as they arched toward one another. What is going on? The Incubi and the wives moved toward the door to join me, still watching the fight.
Sam was about to leave for the night, but then that jerk-ass Sero called him a weak coward. Well, you know how Sam is. He did actually try to walk away, but then Sero said that the war was his fault, so that got this whole shitstorm started. They've been at it ever since.
Dear Lord! The hell? I looked back to Seto and Sam, still unable to make either of them out as they clashed and fought. My eyes looked down Diana, seeing her lean against the far wall with crossed arms. As I examined her, her eyes seemed to follow the fight almost masterfully. Was she able to see what the hell is happening despite their lightning speed? Why was she just watching anyway? Sam, stop it!
Keep at it, Seto. Don't let him stop!
Okay. I can see it as like a training, I guess. What the hell? I ran over to Diana despite her not taking her eyes off the fight. Why aren't we stopping this, Diana? Wait and watch. Don't attack her. I still wasn't understanding. Why was I not getting any answer? I turned my gaze to the fight, desperate to try and see what Diana wanted me to witness.
Are you that weak, Incubus? You haven't landed a blow on me once!
I didn't want to hit Diana because I think this is a training for Sam that they're giving.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Like father, like son!
I didn't understand why Seto was egging him on and insulting him, but Sam seemed up for the battle regardless of the fact using the insults as inspirational rage. However, from the faint outline of Sam that I could see, I noticed something off about him. His was surrounded by a heavy green and red mixed aura. The more I watched, the more the aura seemed to build and take shape around Sam's body. I couldn't tell what it was, but it looked almost alive.
Enough!
Okay, at once Sam and Settle slid to the opposite sides of the open space, panting and gasping for air. Around Settle was a faint white light that was diminishing with each breath he took. Around Sam, however, was a clear view of a tense red and green aura. It seemed to flicker around Sam like flames, but it didn't seem to die even with the battle being over.
What the hell?
What is that?
Settle.
Diana pushed off of the wall and walked to Settle, wrapping an arm around his and making him gasp at the gesture. He looked to her in shock as she turned to Sam with a hard gaze.
It would seem that we have much to do before the siege.
What are you talking about? Diana seemed to ignore my question as she turned and began to walk towards the room's exit with Settle in her arm. Sam, on the other hand, dropped to the floor and sat back against the wall, trying to calm down. Instinctively, I rushed over to him. Sam shut his eyes as he forced himself to take deep breaths. Each one seemed less labored than the last, but I could tell that he was working to calm his rage. Sam? The aura around Sam finally seemed to die down before Sam let out a heavy sigh and pressed his head back against the wall. I could tell that exhaustion was weighing on him heavily, so I simply sat beside him waiting.
Sam, what is going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sam, you had a weird aura around you.
I said I don't know!
Sam closed his eyes and pressed his back against the wall, letting his head drop to his chest. He genuinely didn't seem to know what was going on, but I became concerned. Why was his aura so strange? My thoughts ran to the voice from the flame. Was it the start of whatever test he had in mind? Why were Diana and Settle involved, though? Sam finally opened his eyes and looked to me. His irises flashed gold at sight of me, but quickly returned to emerald green as he let out a sigh. Ask if he's okay or wait patiently. I hate this. 'Cause I don't know what choices are right. 'Cause whenever I'm playing games, especially Seduce Me 2, or Seduce Me in general, I'm always too nice. Sometimes I have to lay off. No, it's a Saga Academy. I was too nice when I had to lay off. But it's just my personality, so... Should we... He doesn't seem like the person that will reply to me if I ask if he's okay, so let's wait patiently. Fingers crossed. I knew Sam well enough not to pester him and to let him settle down. As he stared, he reached a hand up and gently ruffled my hair.
Sorry you had to see that.
I hope that's correct. I shook my head and held his hand, kissing his palm. As I did, Sam chuckled and stood, ushering me to stand along with him. Sam gently took my hand and walked to lead me out of the room.
Hey, hold on!
Shut up, Squirt!
Squirt! What the hell?
Matthew, hey, chill!
I looked back to see Norian and Damien holding Matthew back from pouncing at Sam, but I continued with Sam out of the room. As we walked down the hall, I looked at Sam, seeing the exhaustion in his eyes grow heavier and heavier. He had used a lot of energy. I wrapped my arms around him and guided him back to our room, sitting in bed and eventually flopping back onto it with me. As he let out a relaxed grunt, I kissed his cheek. Everything okay?
Yeah. Just exhausted. Man, fuck that guard.
I smiled and hugged him, ushering him to wrap his arms around me and kiss my forehead.
Something really has been weird, though.
I agree. Both of us went silent as we became lost in thought. I knew Sam was trying to determine what happened, but I was concerned over what the voice in the flame said and how that reflected on Sam. The nightmare I had made a little more sense, but why was I involved? Sam and I went to bed that night, both unsure of what was going on and mildly fearful of what was happening. We couldn't speak about it without knowing all of the pieces. We both knew better than to take stabs in the dark. My night was uneventful, but my morning wasn't the same. I didn't expect to wake up with a hand over my mouth with an arm tied around my waist. I tried to focus my vision, but as the sensation of my situation set in, I gasped and struggled to see who was keeping me captive. Settle? What the hell? are you doing to me? I stared wide-eyed. Seto was staring ahead of us as he kept my mouth shut. He held me against him with his other arm. What was even stranger was that he was using his holy magic, disabling me to use any of my energy to fight back. Weird, but we're gonna stop there. It's quite this is an eventful episode. We have a fire talking to us that I thought was a wizard. Something's going on with Sam, if now Settle is keeping us shut. I don't know what's going on. But thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.